And hey guys, hope everyone's doing well today. Today I'm going to be talking about a fairly interesting concept that was kind of shown to me early on in my trading practices, and I never really took advantage of it or took it too seriously until I took my trading career more seriously. And so this is going to be the idea of repeated chart movements. Okay, so repeated chart movements is a fairly easy concept to grasp. It just requires a lot of back testing and a lot of research on your candle charts. So getting into what repeated movements are on candle charts is they're basically just at certain times throughout the day, there will be predictable movements that happen most of the time. So, for example, if we are on AUD NZD, an example, now this isn't correct, so don't take my word for it, but let's say every time at 12 noon, there would be a spike in the market, okay, for about 10 minutes. And so obviously that's not true because we're at 12 o'clock right here and that didn't happen. Um, but I will show you some currency pairs that where that does happen, and for most of the days you can kind of predict a candle movement um, that happens at certain times. And so to really get a hold of this concept and to grasp it well, basically what you're going to need to do is hopefully you guys are trading only, from 1 to 5 pairs, and on those pairs that you are trading, you should go back and just look to see if you can see any patterns throughout the day. So like I said, this is going to take a lot of back testing and whatnot, but like when you find a solid pair where you can kind of see a repeated movement day in and day out, then it's a free trade daily, right? And so I also want to repeat that even though these movements that I'll be showing you guys that happen on most days, that the ones I'll be listing off, these don't happen every day, right? So it's not 100% confirmation that this movement will happen at this certain time. But as you guys will see, I'll show you. Most days you can predict it and you can see it happen. And so the last thing I want to say before I get into showing you guys these repeated movements, um, it's not a specific time that it happens. So it's not like I said 12 o'clock AUD NZD. It's so one example I'll show you is in between 7 and 10:30, more specifically 7:30 and 9. Okay, and as well you can calculate kind of an average pip drop and APD of what this movement looks like. So once again, an example I'll be showing you is I have an APD of about 260 pips. So when that movement happens, you can even kind of specify when it'll stop dropping too, right? So 260 pips would be the average drop for one pair that I will show you right away. Okay, so the first one I'm going to be showing you guys is Euro JPY. Okay, so I just once again through back testing have noticed a repeated movement that's happened on most days at a specific time, and so we're going to get right into it. So what I found on Euro JPY, and by the way, I'm doing all these on 15 minutes. That's just because of the kind of trader I am. I like to scalp and micro scalp. If you're, let's say, a day trader, you might wanting to be doing these on a higher time frame. Okay, so take that with a grain of salt. Depending on the type of trader you are, you might want to switch your candle charts. But anyways, Euro JPY. So what I found is in between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock, 8 p.m., 4 p.m., there has been a predictable rise in the market as well as drop afterwards. So this is your JPY right here, actually. So as we can see at the bottom, we'll go to, so we're at 4 o'clock. So in between 4 o'clock and 8 o'clock, so in between these two things, there's been a rise and a drop. And as you can see, right here, I'm not wrong. So at around 6:15, 7, there is a little bit of a shoot up in the market as well as a drop shortly afterwards. Um, and then we'll test yesterday too. So in between 4 and 8, and as you can see, there is a little bit of a spike in the market. Um, and once again, this isn't a for sure thing to happen every day. Let's see if I can find a day where it doesn't happen. Like here, there's still a little bit of a spike, but that was because we're on an uptrend. But let's see now the day before, so that didn't happen. but on this day it happened. So in the past 3 days so in the past 4 days, it happened 3 times out of four, right? So, like I said, there's these little spikes that you can catch that happen repeatedly in the market every day. Um, Sorry, not every day, but it does happen a lot of times. And even on an uptrend, it'll still spike up. So as you can see here, this happened at around 7:30. Like I said, I can keep going back and testing it, and a lot of times you'll see a noticeable spike. Like here, there's not really one noticeable spike, although it does spike up a little bit overall. Um, but yeah, so once again, this just comes with a lot of back testing, and you guys can definitely find some for yourselves depending on the pairs you trade. What I don't want you to do is just switch over to your JPY and start showing the one I've showed you, just because you have one. If you're trading Aussie Canadian dollar, I want you to go on that one and find a specific one because you're used to that one for sure. But like as you can see here, in between 4 and 8, at around 6 o'clock, big spike up in the market there. So this is the Euro JPY one. I'll show you guys one more right away. But yeah, so this is kind of what you want to be looking for. Okay, so moving on, this one, the last one I'll be showing you guys is the Aussie Canadian dollar. Um, And so this one I have, through back testing, noticed that in between 7 and 10 a.m. there is once again a slight shoot up in the market as well as drop shortly afterwards. So on the first day here, we'll look. So in between 7 is right here and 10. So in between these two sections, and as you can see, there's a pretty clear shoot up as well as drop shortly afterwards. And then we'll just go back a few days to show you guys. So in between here and here, and as you can see, it pierced the Bollinger Bands. And so one thing I've also noticed throughout testing this is it's not quite the same magnitude that the market shoots up in every time. It's referencing the Bollinger Bands. Okay, so if you're in a consolidating market, it might not shoot up as much as when you're in a, let's say, a downtrend. But yeah, that's just something I've noticed. So moving on to the next day here, right about here, we got in between 7 and 10, and as you can see, there is a shoot up as well as a big drop that happened as well shortly afterwards. So yeah, it's an interesting concept that you guys can definitely backtest and find some for yourselves. Once again, this kind of plays into the role of you trading the same pairs every time you're trading. So as you can see, the ones that the four I have flagged here are the ones that I trade. So what you guys want to do is definitely get familiar with your 1 to 5 trading pairs, and then when you guys have some time on your hands, you want to research a little bit into the pairs. This is definitely something you can do. Find the repeated patterns that happen throughout the day. I'm sure there are tens. You just need to look for it and back test them. But yeah, hopefully this video helped you out. If you did, leave a like please, as well as you can contact me through email as well as Instagram in the bottom of the description anytime you want. A few more people have reached out to me asking for questions, so I do appreciate it. I'll try to get back to you guys as soon as possible, as well as you can leave a comment if you'd like. But thanks for watching today's video, guys, and have a good day.